Hi, here we are back for part number 6. Couple of little changes since the last episode. Clouds have moved a bit, so it's a bit brighter in here, so the light seems to be a bit different. And I went and did something with my face. I just realised I just uploaded 5 or 6 videos and I had no makeup on. If you watched my earlier video, I was talking about I had laser hair treatment this morning, and you've got to let it sit for a few hours before you put anything over the top of it, and I probably should have left it for a bit longer, but I'm on a bit of a roll with these videos, so I thought I'd try to make myself a bit more presentable. So, alright, so we were going to talk now about some of the effects that I've experienced on HRT. So what did we say? I started on the 18th of October, so it's coming up to 4 months. But not much has happened in the last week or so. But anyway. Let's just discuss. So the very first thing that I noticed, and this is going to be probably very similar to every other video that's online about all the effects of hormones, right? Just keep in mind that I'm 47, so I have started quite late. I was standing at 182 centimetres, which is 6 foot tall, and I have recently undergone, last March, I had weight loss surgery. I had a gastric sleeve operation. That's where they move 85% of your stomach, remove 85% of your stomach, so you end up with like a sleeve, so it really restricts what you can eat. So I went from 140 kilos down to 75 kilos. So keep in mind that was my starting point. So I stripped my body of pretty much all of my fat content. So I am sort of starting like off on a base that's, I'm building on a building blocks that are pretty well stripped back, if that makes sense. I know a lot of transitioners, they start HRT and they then sort of go on some exercise and diet regimes to try to lose weight. I know that people try to weight cycle throughout their transition as well to try to redistribute that fat to other places. And from my understanding, the fat doesn't move from here to there. You just lose from some places and gain in others. So with me being at such a low base to start with, what I'm experiencing is I am putting weight on where it's desired, where I want it to go, and I am still losing a little bit of weight in other areas, which has been fantastic. My weight loss saw me lose a lot of my muscle mass prior to HRT, but I do think that HRT has extended that process and it's still happening. So my arms, a bit hard to see in this top, but I did get quite skinny, as you can see, but I used to be big. I was a big person, right? So a lot of that was because of the surgery, but then now it's like shaping the body. So back from the start, when you first start taking hormones, you get the placebo effect. I think everybody gets that. It's like you take a pill or put on a patch, and then 5 minutes later, oh, I think my boobs are tingly, or something's going on. It's all in your head, right? But it's fun. It's you. It's your journey. It's your experience. Have fun with it. I did. I think of a lot of it. It's probably some dopamine. It's probably some things that your brain's releasing because finally you're on that journey that you always wanted to be on. That you've taken that very first step of becoming the person that you've always wanted to be or present as, however you look at it. So it's a bit of euphoria, and that placebo effect lasts a little while. So for me, my regime is I patch twice a week. So Monday mornings and Thursday evenings to try to break the week up evenly in 2 sections. And I take a pill at the same time for my testosterone blocker. So at first, when I was taking it, I was on 50 micrograms, I think it was, of estradiol. And I was getting these peaks and troughs. I was having these huge, high euphoric moments because it was the first time that my body was receiving estrogen, and it was more the mental aspect that really was noticeable at that stage. Nothing physical had really started to take place. And my goodness, the way to describe it was like floating. I was just like in heaven. I put a patch on Monday morning, and for the first couple of hours I was almost like you've illicit drugs or something. So yeah, but then my pattern was, after those great highs, there were the terrible lows, there were the crashes. So I think most people, especially older transitioners, are started on a lower dose to see how it goes, to see how your body reacts, because some people don't react well to it. My body, thankfully, has just reacted so well, and it's absorbing it once more. So I went back to my doctor at my first checkup. I had my bloods, and it was like, yeah, your testosterone has dropped considerably, but your estrogen hasn't really gone up that far. So let's double you to 100 micrograms twice per week. And then that seemed to stable things out. I was on that for 6 weeks. The peaks and troughs lessened. There were some, but then there were moments of like the emotions, the spontaneous crying, feeling sad and blue, feeling lonely and isolated because I'm essentially home by myself all day while my wife and kids are at school and work. So there was all of that as well. And then so my last checkup, and I'm just about due for another one in a week and a half. Yeah, I've got my pathology form up there for my blood tests. My last one was my estrogen had gone up to 118 and my testosterone was at 0.2, so almost non-existent. And that's when the physical really started to happen. The skin changes happened pretty quickly, I have to say. The softening of the skin happened, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks. Honestly, it happened quickly, but not much else. Skin softening. That's it. That's continued, and it still does to this day. And not only does my skin feel different to touch, but it feels different to be touched. And then we talk about different sensations, and I don't want to get too personal, but like erogenous zones and that type of thing. That's all changed. It's completely different. The muscle mass definitely has continued. I'm losing more mass, and the shape of some of my body parts are changing. For example, my legs, being the cyclist that I am, I've always had quite large, bulky calf muscles, so they've actually become quite slender and shapely, which is very nice, because I did lose, and it took me a lot of time to realise that my legs had gotten thin, because you have this thing when you're overweight for so long, you have this thing called fat brain, and when you lose an enormous amount of weight, your brain rather just does not compute, it just doesn't catch up. And it's similar to when you're transitioning, and I'll get to this later on, but I'm at the point now where I am full-time, I think I've mentioned that, and it's only been in the last week or so that I think my brain has actually caught up to where I am physically. You may disagree, you may not think that I am all there, but I think in one of my videos I posted on Reddit, it was a video where I sort of had this thought that it's not about how people perceive you and how you think others think you look, it's how you think you look and how comfortable you are with yourself. Anyway, I digress once again. So what else has changed? My body shape is starting to change. So again, the weight loss, I lost a lot of fat, but my waist continues to shrink. So from my ribs that finish here, I do have an indentation there, which is great. Like it's really nice. So my skirts now sort of taper in at the top, which is how they're supposed to be, and that's lovely. And I think finally, maybe hopefully, that I'm getting a bit of weight distribution on my butt. It jiggles a little bit, which it didn't before. It was just flat. I had a pancake ass. So yeah, I'm not going to win any twerking awards anytime soon. But there is a bit of there's a bit of something. Look, there's something there, right? So the butt's happening at last. So I guess the big one with physical is breasts. And I guess I'm at a point where they are unhideable. I was wearing a small size sports bra to try to squash them in. And then those of you who have been through this know that they hurt all the time. Just varying degrees of hurt. It's either really hurt or just hurting. So squashing them down wasn't an option anymore. So I went and bought some padded bras in an A cup, and they were great for about 3 weeks, and they just became too tight and uncomfortable. So then I moved up to a B cup bra. So I think on all accounts, a B cup in 3 months is pretty good, and I just hope that they continue to develop. I don't want them too much bigger than where they are now, but I do want them bigger than where they are now. Some kind of happy medium. There is a rule of thumb apparently that you look at your closest sibling and your mother, and you look at where they are. They're quite well endowed, so I don't want to go that far. We'll see what happens. So that's probably most of the physical. We can talk from here up as well. There has been some significant changes here, and it's one of those things where your face is really, it's what's on display, it's what people see, it's what you see every day. So if you're anything like me, my morning routine involves getting up, brushing my hair in the mirror, and studying my face for any kind of changes. And it's really hard to see those changes on a day-to-day basis. But this is another reason why I make all these videos, and I made a whole bunch of these pre-transition when I first came out, through early transition to now, so I can make these comparisons. But I've definitely lost so much weight off my neck and under my jaw. It's my biggest source of dysphoria, that part right there, and that's a result of my weight loss. So look, I'll give it 12 months on the HRT and see how it ends up. It's not too bad. I think the hair goes a long way in helping. But if I have to have FFS, then I will. It's as simple as that. I do feel as though I've got these indentations. I don't feel, I can see them. I do have an indentation here on my cheeks. That's pretty cool. And there is a bit of fat distribution happening there. So probably from there to there, I'm not too uncomfortable with. I do have the brow bone, which part of FFS will address that. But it has softened a little bit. I've been very lucky. It's there, which is the bit that blows me out. My lips have gotten fuller. Now I'm taking these chewable gummies every morning. What are they? Collagen. And I was drinking this collagen supplement, so I've pumped that much collagen into my body. That might be helping with my skin as well, but my lips have definitely not so much changed shape, but I think they've filled out quite a bit. And finally, before I finish, this is the longest video so far, the shape of my eyes have definitely changed, and they are a lot wider than they used to be, and you can see more of the whites of my eye again, which is really nice. So I think that sums up most of the physical changes and hormones. Geez, I can talk, can't I? I might have to elaborate a bit more on the next one about the mental changes and how they've affected me. So, all right, well, congratulations. You made it to the end of another one, and we'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.